Hi, this is David of Inspect Canada. We're just about to start this home inspection here. And how about you follow us along? We'll show you exactly what we look for and the common items that we find on these type of homes. Come along. The first thing we do when we start a home inspection is we start with the outside. Amongst many things that we look for, we want to make sure that there's proper water management, that there's no settlement of the sidewalks, that the foundation's in good shape, that the siding is in great shape. And if we come along and we find a great feature, we also want to put that in the report so that the clients get a full picture. For example, we have really beautiful overhangs on this house. This is protecting all this wood siding. That's why the wood siding is such great condition. So as of now, I'm gonna go around, take some pictures, test the outlets and everything else, and I'll come right back here. The second thing we do during our home inspection is we get on the roof. We strive to walk every roof that we inspect. Nothing beats walking a roof for a proper inspection. But if the roof, the pitch is too dangerous, if it just rained, if it's a type of roof that we shouldn't walk on, like shake shingles, then what we have here is what's called a spectroscope. So it's a 30-foot pole that we extend that is linked to our phone. There's a camera at the end. I can zoom in, I can take pictures. So I'm gonna go all the way around the house, different areas, and I'm gonna be taking pictures of this roof in every little locations and all the details. So even though we're not able to walk this roof, you can rest assured that it will be fully inspected. While doing the outside, if we do have a detached or an attached garage, we want to make sure that we fully inspect it. It's a little bit of the same as inside a home. We test all the electricals. We want to make sure that the doors are fire rated, that the garage door has all the safety features, the electronic eyes and the auto reverse. In this garage, we turned out that we have a sub panel. So we open this up, and then whatever we find here, if there's electrical issues or there's cracks in the concrete, we make sure we put all that in the report. Like for example, we have living space above. This ceiling should be fire rated. There's plenty of things we could talk about here, but in general, it's just like the inside of a house, the plumbing, the electricals, and the structure. I want to know where everything is. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go around from top to bottom. I'll turn all the lights on, all the heaters on, and open all the doors. Now that I'm done turning all the lights on, opening all the doors, and have the heaters on, I want to go through all the bathroom on the top floor and run the water, not full blast, but about halfway so it doesn't overflow. I want to make sure that there is no leak right away. I'll flush the toilet, and I'll run the shower, the bathtub a little bit, so that we have the water running for a long period of time inside the home. We found that we pick up a lot more leaks like this. If you have 40 years old copper in here, the pinholes only really tends to leak when the water is running. On the first pass, now that I've got the lights on, all the door opens, if I do come across the laundry, I want to turn it on. We test all the appliances, but first I want to make sure that there's no items inside and also that there's no prior water damage. So we'll look in the back on those sides because we don't want to walk away and create a water problem. Now that we're on the main floor, we want to do the exact same thing we did upstairs. This is the first pass, so I'm turning all the lights on, I open all the doors, crank up the heaters, and if I do come across a bathroom, I'll turn the water on slightly, I'll flush the toilet. I want to run this water as long as possible. Once I get in the kitchen, I'm going to test that dishwasher, but just like the laundry, we want to make sure there's no prior water damage. We don't want to create any issues in here. Now that I've turned all the lights on, open all the doors, crank up the heaters on the main floor, I know where everything is. So now I'm gonna go back upstairs. I'm gonna inspect the bedrooms, the bathrooms, and the closet. We wanna completely finish that floor, turn the water off, run the infrared camera. So the only reason to go back up there will be for the client's presentation. So once we're inspecting, once we get across a bathroom, we wanna inspect it right away. Amongst many things that we inspect in the bathroom, there's the electrical, the switches, the sink, the toilet, the fan up here. We want to make sure that it has good suction and it's just not making noise. We want to make sure that there is no moisture behind the tiles. We'll use our moisture meter to make sure of that. We'll test the water flow. We'll make sure here at the sink, we'll bring that water up to the overflow to make sure that it's not leaking, there's no leakage of the drains. And at the same time, we'll just keep flushing this toilet to make sure that there's no water that comes out of the back. We'll test the door, we'll make sure there's no cosmetic damage, any stains on the ceilings or broken tiles or any issues on the floor. Some of the common items that we find in here is obviously leaks under the sink, very common, loose toilets as well, and moisture behind the tiles due to a lack of maintenance. Once we enter a bedrooms, the first thing I want to do is I want to test the door. I want to make sure that it latches properly. We'll be testing all the closet doors as well. Every outlets that we see, we'll be testing them. And then once we get to the window, we want to make sure that it slides properly, that the locks are working great, and there's no moisture between the panes. And then if this is the last room on the floor, we'll be finishing off with an infrared camera on all the walls and ceilings to make sure there's no water penetrations from either the attic or from the outside walls. So while inspecting the bedrooms, if I do come across an electrical panel, I want to inspect it right away. Some of the things we'll be reporting on is the size of the main breaker. In this case, we have a 100 amp. We want to see if there's any FCI breakers like this one. These are for the bedrooms. And then I want to take this panel right out of there. And I want to make sure that everything is nice and safe in there, that we don't have any double taps, any burnt wires, that the right wire gauge is the right size for the breaker, that there's no rust or humidity in there. And then at the end, we'll run the infrared camera all over the panel just to make sure that there's no overheating or anything unsafe happening there. Now that we're finished with the upstairs, we've done all the bedrooms, the bathrooms, we ran the infrared camera everywhere, we turned the water off, now we're back on the main floor. So in here, we'll be inspecting completely everything. We're gonna do the living room, the bathrooms, the kitchen, and every little closet that we have on this floor. But now here in the kitchen, some of the items amongst many things that we look for is we'll be testing the water in the sink. We want to make sure the hardware is nice and solid, that there's no leakage at the drain. We already ran the dishwasher, so we'll make sure there has been no leaks. We're gonna test all the appliances in here. We're gonna turn all the elements on, and then we're gonna use our infrared camera to show the client that it was working at the time of inspection. We'll have pictures in the report. We'll test all the drawers to make sure that they're all in good shape, as well as all the cabinet doors, that the hinges are in good shape as well. We'll test the microwave. This microwave has a fan under it, so we'll make sure that it has good suction, that is also exhausting to the outside. And then all the outlets and switches, the floor and the ceiling, will completely inspect everything. Some of the common items that we find in the kitchens are leaks at the drains, hardware that is leaking, switches, outlets that are not working, broken cabinet doors, elements on the stove that isn't working. There's plenty of things to inspect here in the kitchens, and we'll go through absolutely everything. In this house here, we have a crawl space. The access is right down here. What we'll be looking for in there is either pest activity, water intrusion, foundation crack, insulation issues, plumbing leaks. I already know the furnace and the hot water tank is down there, so we'll be inspecting this as well. Very often when we do a home inspection, there are things in the way, so we'll move that respectfully and we'll put it back the way it was. So now that I'm in the crawl space, I want to put everything in the report as I go so that report is ready at the end of the inspection. So we have a hot water tank here. I already know this one is 14 years old. They normally last about 8 to 12. There's water in the pan, there's rust on top. This unit will have to go in the report. It is working absolutely fine right now, but it could die anytime. Also, we want to report on the locations of the main water shutoff, which is right here. If there's an emergency, the client just needs to come down in the crawl space, turn that handle off, and all the water is cut off. It would be nice to have it a little bit more available upstairs in case of emergency, every second count, but this is the setup they have. So we also have a furnace back here. We know this is original to the building. It's about 20 years old. It's working great. They really are designed to last approximately 25 years. We see them lasting a lot longer, but the client needs to know that, you know, it's good to keep doing the maintenance on it to try to extend the lifespan of it. Also, we will mark the locations of the main gas shutoff, which is right up here. In case the client comes home, smells like gas everywhere, all they need to do is to come down here and shut this gas off. So now I'm gonna take the time to go all around the crawl space, making sure there's no foundation issues, no droppings, pest activity, no water standing anywhere, any plumbing leaks. You might have noticed that this house plumbed with polybutylene. Polybutylene was removed off the market around 1996 due to a high failure, lots of leakage. It can be an insurance issue, so we will let our client know about it. It doesn't appear to be leaking anywhere, but it's very important for the client to know what it's all about. Now that I'm ready to get inside the attic, I want to make sure that I walk it from one end to the other. The common items that we find in the attic is either pest activity, mold due to poor ventilation, and obviously roof leaks, but we can find electrical problems and all kinds of other stuff. And if once we open the panel, if some debris falls down, we want to make sure that we clean this as it was when we got here. As you can see, all the plywood is nice and beautiful. It has no mold on it. There's absolutely zero leaks coming from this roof. All the exhausts are insulated. There's a massive amount of insulation in here and absolutely no pest activity. This attic looks absolutely beautiful. Now that the inspection is finished, the client arrives, we want to greet them, offer them a bottle of water, and walk them through the outside and show them all the deficiencies that will be in the report, including all the positive features. We'll talk to them about the water management, the foundations, and all the other deficiencies that will be in the report. In the inside, if the client is able, we'll take them in the crawl space, show them the location of the main water shutoff, talk to them about the state of the hot water tank in the furnace, and also the type of plumbing that they have. Once we're done in there, we'll go through the entire house, show them absolutely everything so that there is absolutely no surprises. Now that we're done with the presentation, we've gone through the entire house, we've answered all their questions, we're able to take payment on site through credit cards or cash, and we always like to conclude the presentation with a picture with our happy clients. We hope you found this video informative. This is just an overview of one of our home inspections. Every home is different. Depending on the age or type, we look for different items. If you have any questions about anything, please be sure to reach out to us. We'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Until then, thank you for watching and have an awesome day.